There is no doubt that K. Chandrasekhar Rao, also known as KCR, is mainly credited with the formation of Telangana after a long and protracted battle and witnessed the birth of the state on 2nd June 2014. As the patriarch of the party, he had his close family members around him for decisions both politics and policies, as also a force to play the role of an aggressive opposition. But since last election, several rumors have swirled around KCR's health and inability to lead the party, staying confirmed most of the time to his farmhouse. Recent events, however, have indicated that there is a silent churn going on in the BRS and amongst and around the top leadership. It all began on May Day, when KCR's daughter Kavitha publicly said how, while geographically they had managed to get Telangana, they haven't been able to get a social Telangana where there was social and economic equality. And with that, Kavitha gave a call to attain social Telangana. That began the murmurs. And not just within her party, but even the opposition was waiting for such a chance and started criticizing her for having been in power for almost a decade. And how come you've not achieved what you say that the state lacks, and that is social Telangana? Kavitha rubbished the rumor and said and reiterated that she was only echoing what she had gathered in her tour of Samajika Telangana across 47 constituencies in the state. The other key figure and part of the close family circle of KCR is his nephew and former finance minister Harish Rao, who has openly endorsed KTR taking over as the head of BRS. This came as a bit of a bolt from the blue, considering Harish and KTR had allegedly several run-ins in the past. Harish, however, said, and I am quoting him here, "I have said this before and I am reiterating it. As a disciplined party worker, I will wholeheartedly welcome it if the party president entrusts KTR with leadership." Now, the point to ponder also is that during the party's Silver Jubilee celebrations in Warangal in April, while posters and banners across the city prominently featured KCR and KTR, Kavitha and Harish Rao were conspicuously missing from the publicity material. Even as Harish Rao has dismissed any rumors of him quitting the party, as was rumored earlier by several that, oh, he's going to form his own party, his cozying up to KTR is a big indication of winds of change in the BRS. And also Kavitha's taking a separate path is yet another wind of change. Let's debate. A. Sai Shekhar is with us, senior journalist, and K.S. Prasad, who's a political analyst. A very, very warm welcome to both of you. Sai, good to see you after what, decades? Thank you so much for joining the show. What is this? I mean, something is happening. You understand that party like no one else. Tell me this Kavitha saying there has been no social kind of a change. We've geographically achieved it. And Harish Rao first saying that, we all know that there is always a kind of friction between two strong men. But now saying that I'm okay if KTR Garu takes over. How do you read this? How do you read the tea leaves, Sai?
I think, as far as Kavitha is concerned, she is very much disenchanted within the party. That is what is being talked about from within the sources of the party also for quite some time, because ever since she has been arrested in the liquor scam, Delhi liquor scam, she has been. She feels she is isolated from the family or the party, and even though the party leadership has blown hot and blown cold, rather, they have never displayed that blowing hot posturing. They weren't actually cozying up with her and associating themselves with the Delhi liquor scam. Instead, they were only fighting a legal battle, and they were not taking it to political. They have not given any political overtones to it as that time. Vis-a-vis Harish Rao, I would like to tell you, Harish Rao has never ever crossed the party line, though the political analysts and wishful thinkers have always wanted Harish Rao to cross the line and defy KCR and come out. Even in 2009, if you remember, when Dr. Rajashekar Reddy was alive, there were speculations, rumors, informed speculations that Harish Rao has hobnobbed with Dr. Reddy, and almost the deal was struck that Harish would be crossing over to the Congress, but nothing such has happened. This is one. And second thing, Varangal meeting, there is one background or a backdrop to it that, literally the backdrop on the Varangal recent Varangal meeting dais had adorned only two pictures of KCR and KTR, and Harish and Kavitha, as you were pointing out, were conspicuous by their absence. But KTR is the working president of the party. Please don't forget that. And Harish Rao in the party setup doesn't have a position in that sense. So since it was a party meeting,
Kavitha Garu then? Kavitha Garu?
Kavitha also doesn't have a position in the party, boss.
Okay.
He doesn't have a position in the party.
Okay.
Kavitha is an MLC, Harish Rao is an MLA.
I'm sure, but let me go on.
Harish Rao has always, time and again, said he is loyal to KCR and he will stay loyal to his uncle, and he will never cross the line. And if a situation comes where KCR hands over the reins of power within the party to and succession, if KCR decides the succession plan and hands over the reins of the party to KTR, Harish said, I have no qualms in supporting that, in welcoming that. All that Harish Rao needs is his dignified positioning, because he's been there with the party for the last 25 years as a responsible soldier.
All right. K.S. Prasad, please come in here, and how do you read the tea leaves, considering that now, at least Sai Shekhar said that there has been murmurs in the sense the way Kavitha Garu has not been supported as a political force. Of course, they would have helped her legally. But then how do you read the tea leaves? I mean, do you think Harish Rao, he says it's impossible, he's been very loyal. But the point of the matter is that, there were rumors swirling around. Of course, you and I, all of us are journalists, we always need to have facts before we go, and social media is such a beast that you can, they can swirl any rumors. But tell me, K.S. Prasad, what are you hearing? Do you think Kavitha is truly disgruntled and wants to separate? That is also a major wind of change. And Harish Rao as well, Prasad.
Good evening, ma'am, and good evening to Sai sir, and good evening to the viewers. Ma'am, you are very smart enough, and you always read in between the lines, and then only you conduct a debate. And really, we all need to understand the real silence of KCR. And unnecessary ruckus, which was, as usual, being a woman, the way she creating some ruckus, and Harish Rao, a smart move. After Etal Rajendra is a crisis manager, in whoever may say whatever the reasons. End of the day, we all consider Harish Rao is number 2 in the party, even though KTR is being considered as a working president. Irrespective of all circumstances, Harish Rao is always given a proper pedestal as far as party is concerned, and he's a very good loyalist. Yesterday also he proved. But this is the one story which was narrated by unnecessary story which was popped up, and we are all debating on this. But in fact, the real silence of KCR and ignorance and incompetency and incapability of Revanth Reddy, which was got popped up a couple of days back in his own speech, that consequences are leading towards, as usual, and as the tendency for Congress, the CLP itself will be willing in BRS, and down the line, if they won't expand the ministry, even after expansion of the ministry also, the two sides of the coin is clearly indicating a huge voice towards KCR. In a span of no time, is going to be the chief minister again. This is what the real situations were topping up, and really it needs to be debated, because as usual, people like Dano Nagendra and all who have been sailed towards as against the wind, or whatever the wind you name it as. End of the day, if he's not being justified with the ministry in span of a couple of months, and as usual, tones will definitely change. And people who are all settled in Congress, unfortunately, other than Revanth Reddy, there is no such 10-member team for other leaders, and really named leaders like whatever Komat Reddy brothers, and as well as the tall person of Uttam Kumar Reddy. They are not at all a loyalist to the respect to Sonia Gandhi in this contest. There is no other leader who can have other side of chief minister's role is concerned in Telangana. The option is being explored. As usual, tendency of Congress will in BRS. the KCR silence is down the line, the miracle will definitely take place. This is what the real story in Telangana. As usual, Kavitha is unnecessarily creating some ruckus as if she is a wonder kid, just like she, end of the day, she lands up like Sharmila in Andhra Pradesh. Other than
That's
that,
what
nothing will happen.
exactly. And that's what, Prasad, I wanted to ask Sai. Sai, will she end up like
I will not
Sharmila?
say,
Like,
ma'am. He will not tell anything because he's a Rahul Dravid. He'll always cover up with pads. He'll only play defense.
that's not.
Tell me, what is your question, Sudha?
I am asking you, will Kavitha end up like Sharmila? Because Sharmila is hardly a force to reckon with. She severed all her relationship with her brother, started and she joined the Congress. Today, you know where Sharmila is. She's become more like a protest politician, more than an active politician. You think Kavitha is taking that way with Samajika, Yatra that she's conducting, 47 constituencies, trying to be the bleeding heart? Is that how you look at her future in the coming few days?
Your question and bringing in Prasad's observation about I playing Rahul Dravid, I would like to tell you your question is like, very leading, like, have you stopped beating your wife? If you say yes, you are beating your wife, and if you say no, you are continuing to beat her. So your question is very tricky. I don't know whether Kavitha would end up as a Sharmila or would actually part ways with her father, or whatever sulking posturing that surreptitiously she is doing, making as of now, is only to keep the top leadership of the BRS on tenterhooks. But whether she will actually break the ranks and pull the plug is not known, and how much of cadre she built and how much of people, how many of the KCR flock would go along with Kavitha. These things are all very dicey as of now. That is why I said your question is like, have you stopped beating your wife?
I will never
That is
ask,
it.
because if a man, I will never ask, I will never speak to such a man. But Sai, on this thing, do you think, but there is a change which is going on? I mean, politically, do you think?
See, Kavitha is very annoyed with the way she was being treated, and
Right.
after a very long time, maybe because of some level of internal persuasion, she has held a press conference some 2 days
Right.
ago in the Telangana Bhavan, but she wasn't even going there for quite some time, and
Right.
there have been louder than usual murmurs that Kavitha is going to go away from
All
the
right.
party and break the ranks.
All right, I've got last 1 minute. Prasad Garu, I want to come to you, Prasad Garu. Tell me in 1 minute, if this happens where, KCR retires, goes into the twilight as it were, and also Kavitha, goes away and forms her own outfit. Do you think Harish Rao and KTR, can they take BRS forward the way KCR was able to, or it's going to be, you think that it's going to be extremely difficult politically and electorally?
No, it's very critical. The first thing, as long as Mr. KCR is there in active politics, nobody at least dare to talk about it. As far as regional parties are concerned, it will be always under the shade of one leader. And these two are just like, if Kavitha acts very smart, she lands up like Alagiri in Tamil Nadu, and she lands up like Uddhav Thackeray or some other Thackeray was there, another Thackeray, Lady Thackeray from Maharashtra. And hardly, as long as the shade of family is there, how Sharmila used to be with the cadre and all, if she takes a different turn and if she takes her independent turn, obviously she'll land up in no man's place. And it is very critical also to survive as far as parties are concerned. We have seen a lot of, unnecessary changes in political eras, and there will be no tolerance from the respective people around. Because she's been considered, because KCR's daughter she is. Other than that, she is not having any original identity at all. As far as Spice Board, which has come in Nizamabad before that, the Paspu board they have been fighting around that time. What sort of dharnas have been taken by the farmers and all, how sort of U-turns she has taken, and smartly she has landed up in no man's place as far as the election is concerned. When really in need of party, that time, if they think about their own reasons and if they think about selfish reasons, people will not tolerate and they will not give you any considerations. And particularly if some sort of vacuum is there, then they can address. But absolutely there's no vacuum. And a hands-up situation from the respect to Congress in the Telangana, alternative itself is KCR. And who are all these people are? When people's mindset is very clear, we want KCR at any cost. and they are in need of desperately. So
All right.
obviously these
On
people,
that
if they
note,
act
yeah.
smart, they will be at no man's place.